Today I'm going to be driving the all-new 2019 Hyundai Santa Fe. But before I get into that, I should probably explain what the Santa Fe is these days. When Hyundai first introduced the Santa Fe, it was a compact crossover that competed against vehicles like the Honda CR-V. Then, for its second generation, the Santa Fe grew a little bit in overall length and was offered in 2- and 3-row configurations. When it came time to redesign the Santa Fe for the 2012 model year, Hyundai split the line into two distinct models. There was the 2-row Santa Fe Sport and the 3-row Santa Fe. But now the 2-row model is called the Santa Fe and the 3-row version is known as the Santa Fe XL. That is until next year when Hyundai renames the Santa Fe XL the Palisade. And to make things even more confusing, I'm in Utah driving a car named after a city in New Mexico. Other than Hyundai's revamped naming structure, the most notable thing about the new Santa Fe is its exterior styling. Hyundai lifted the funky front-end design from the smaller Kona and applied it to this new Santa Fe, and I actually like it. It reminds me of the mask the Predator wears with these squinty eyes and this big mouth area and these sucked-in cheeks. Just in case you're wondering, these are the daytime running lights up here, and the headlights are located here. And then there's also fog lights down here, so the Santa Fe actually has 3 different levels of lighting. There's no longer a 3rd-row seat in the Santa Fe's trunk, but there is plenty of cargo room. Behind the 2nd row, there's over 35 cubic feet of storage space, and with just the flip of a switch, that grows to over 70 cubic feet. Pop open the other end of the Santa Fe and you'll find one of 2 gas engines. The first is a 2.4-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder with 185 horsepower and 178 pound-feet of torque. The optional motor is a 2.0-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder with 235 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque. Both engines made up to an 8-speed automatic transmission, and you can have either front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. Fuel economy for both engines is disappointing. The 2-liter turbocharged engine is actually less efficient in mixed driving than the larger and V6 powered Honda Pilot, and the 2.4-liter engine isn't much better, with only a 1 mile per gallon advantage over the Pilot in mixed driving. There is a diesel model on the way that should improve fuel economy, but that Santa Fe is over a year away. Okay, so here we go, our first turn behind the wheel of the all-new 2019 Santa Fe, and I'm in the top spec model here. It's got the 2-liter engine, it's loaded up, all-wheel drive, and my first impression is it's really quite comfortable. I wasn't really expecting it to be this comfortable. It's kind of just a regular mid-size SUV, but it really is quite comfortable, and the steering is better than I was expecting too. It's got a nice weight to it, it's nice and direct, and it's just a joy to drive. Now, this 2-liter engine on paper sounds great. It's turbocharged, 260 pound-feet of torque, but it really just doesn't feel that quick. And the throttle pedal on this is really weird. If you mash it, it waits. There's a good 1 to 2 second delay before the engine actually kicks on, and then when it gets going, there's really not much puff there. And it's also disappointing that it's not that powerful because the fuel economy is not that good. You're going to get better mileage in pretty much everything else in the segment, and even if you go a segment above this, you can get better fuel economy. But on the whole, it's quiet, it's comfortable, and if you don't need a speed demon, it's quite nice to drive. This new Santa Fe is a 2019 model, so obviously it's got all the latest safety tech. It's got standard adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, and blind spot monitoring. But one thing you might not be expecting from a vehicle in this class is a color heads-up display. That's a pretty cool touch that Hyundai didn't have to include, but they did. On the tech front, the Santa Fe comes standard with a 7-inch touchscreen infotainment system that runs Apple CarPlay and Android Auto right out of the box. And if you upgrade to a top spec model like I'm in here, you get navigation and an 8-inch screen that also runs CarPlay and Android Auto. All Santa Fe models come standard with an LCD screen in the middle of the gauge cluster and a really easy to use HVAC system. The back seat of the Santa Fe is spacious with plenty of head and legroom for those around 6 feet or even a little bit taller. There's also a lot of cubby spaces back there, and that's a good thing because most people have a cell phone or a tablet they need to put away, and there's spots for those in this car. There's also this really cool speaker grate that Hyundai's using that looks like an aerial view of a mountain range. And so that's the all-new 2019 Hyundai Santa Fe. This new model might be down a row of seats, but it's gained avant-garde styling and a lot more standard tech. It also drives remarkably well with a comfortable suspension and sharp steering. Performance and fuel economy are a little disappointing though. The midsize crossover segment is set to explode in the coming years with new entrants like the Chevy Blazer and Honda Passport, but this new Santa Fe should remain at the head of the class for the foreseeable future. That is, unless Hyundai decides to turn the Santa Fe into a 3-row pickup truck.